Hello and welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is episode 39, and you can find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk, and I'll pop the link below so you can find it. You can find me on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT and on Ravelry as Cherry Heart. There's also a Ravelry group, Cherry Heart's Cozy Corner, if you would like to come and join that. That's where I hold the giveaways and just general chatter about our current makes and things. I think that's it. Shall we crack straight on with it? You are joining me today in lovely sunny Bedfordshire. It's freezing cold, but it is nice and sunny, so I'll take that because it's better than not so cold but horrible, miserable, damp days, which we've had this week so far. So yeah, it's actually quite pleasant here today. So let me go straight into what I have been making. Yes, so the things I have finished are these Doctor Who socks. They are called the Police Box socks, and they're by Audrey Nickling, and it's I'm not saying that right, Nicklin, yeah. It's a free pattern, would you believe, on Ravelry. The original version is sort of more TARDIS-like, with a dark blue here and a black here, so it looks more sort of realistic, but Danny from Little Bobbins made a version in sort of lighter colours, a lighter colour here, which I really, really liked, and so I was inspired to make some of my own in a similar technique. So I really liked the idea of this lighter yarn with this toffee colour for the windows, and I wanted this so the lettering showed up nicely, but I wasn't sure I'd have enough toffee colour to do the heels and the toes and the windows on both socks, so I decided to do my heels in the blue of the police box lettering. I think that kind of works, doesn't it? I quite like them. These are, I'm calling them my bow ties are cool socks, which is something one of the Doctor Who's says. I'm just getting this off the thing so you can see my lovely, lovely lettering. That is just a dark bit of yarn there. I didn't miss it out. Just saying, I actually did it correctly. Which I'm making a point of saying because I did do it wrong quite a few times and had to go back and undo it on the second sock. But this was the first sock, which went quite smoothly. But yeah, so I do, and I can tell you this because it's a free pattern, but I do 72 stitches for my cuffs anyway, but this is done over 72 stitches, and then you decrease down to do these other windows down here, but the colour work bit is done on 72 stitches, so it's quite, you can see how it's sort of wider and then tapers in. So I think it says to do it on a smaller needle, maybe, I can't remember. But anyway, I've been caught before where I've tried to do my Fair Isle skills are not normally great, and I've been bitten before where I've tried to do it in socks and then ended up not being able to get them over my heel because I've got quite a high instep, so to get it over I haven't had enough stretchiness, so I thought I'm not going through that again. So I did actually just keep them on my 2.5 needles, even though it's quite a bit wider. So although it looks a bit sort of daft like that, I haven't blocked them, as you can tell, I can actually get them on beautifully and they look really good on. So the fact that they look a bit strange off, I don't really care about. But actually, having said that, having taken that precaution, look, I've actually got a really good, nice stretch. Windows aren't quite so good, but that bit I got really good. It's my best Fair Isle stuff ever, I think. I'm really pleased with it. So I could have probably gone down to the smaller needle anyway, but hey ho. I'm sure if I had done it, it would have gone horribly wrong. I think what helped is because I'm a magic loop girl, I normally knit on circulars on magic loop. But when I did some Fair Isle before on magic loop, it's really hard to not get it to pucker between the two needles because it's kind of hard to hold them out flat so you get enough stretch of the float, so that it does tend to pucker up. So I swapped and did the colourwork bit on DPN so that every time I'm working on two needles it's nice and flat behind, and that seemed to work really well. So yeah, if I ever get tempted into doing the colourwork sock again, which it's not that likely, not very much of it anyway, then I will do it on DPNs and then that will be better. But yeah, I do find the whole thing rather stressful, so I can only take a little bit of colourwork. Don't find it very relaxing because I'm always too worried about how it's coming out and if it's working and if I'll have to want to do it. But yeah, this time it worked, so it was totally worth it, and it was totally worth trying it for these socks, which are so cool. So the yarn, this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn, is an Ainsworth and Prynne one from the Knitting Shed. It's a one of the kind colourway because I got it at festival, so I only showed it, was it last week, last time my festival one, last podcast? Anyway, whenever I did my one about festival I said about it in there, but it didn't turn out the way she wanted it to, though there was only one of them, but I love it. I love it personally. And yeah, so when I saw this I knew it would be perfect for these socks, and I had in mind that I wanted this toffee colour, and I also managed to pick that up at festival. That was from Third Volt Yarns. Just trying to think if that's the right name. It is. And then this blue is just some Signet 4-ply that I had in stash. But yeah, very happy with those. Bow ties are cool. And then I have also made something rather more topical, which is a new Christmas tree skirt, a sewn one. So it's actual sewing. I haven't had sewing on here for so long. I've hardly done any this year. And although I haven't I keep meaning to get back to it, but I didn't realise quite how much I've been missing it until I started doing some again, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just had a really nice time making this and actually finding some time to sew again. It was really, really lovely. Anyway, why did I make it? That was what I was going to tell you. So my Christmas tree, I've got two Christmas trees. We've got our main one in our living room and then another sort of smaller creamy one. So originally, or quite a few years ago, when we decorated the main tree, there was quite a lot of colour on there. There's quite a lot of red and white, and I made this Christmas tree skirt to go with it at the time. I didn't follow any pattern. I just I saw some pictures on Pinterest, I think. I got the idea for this sort of white, almost like icing or snow sort of capped look on Pinterest. Maybe the candy canes and things were from Pinterest as well, I can't honestly remember. But anyway, I saw some sort of designs I like and kind of some inspiration, and then I kind of just made it up. It's only a circle after all, so, you know, how hard can it be? So yeah, so I made this quite a few years ago, and it's just got a plain inside and nice little binding with some button loops and some lovely big vintage buttons that I just had. I kind of got quite a collection of old buttons. I went through a phase of buying them on, where did I buy them from? Not Etsy, eBay. That was it. I'd buy them on eBay sometimes or pick them up from jumble sales or boot sales or what have you. So yeah, I had those ones which were perfect for this. So that's what I had been using under my tree for quite a few years. And then I made my crochet Christmas tree skirt, which I'll pop a picture in. That was when the tree went through a more colourful phase and it got more of a mishmash of colours on there. And lately, the last few years, we've been going through more of a pared down phase colour wise. It's been more golds and whites and pinks and greens and more sort of pastel-y and slightly more refined, slightly more elegant lately. And the other tree is enjoying all the other sort of colours. So this is working, this or my crochet one works on the other tree. This year I've gone for this one because it's very red. It's a cream tree, so the red shines up really well. So I've gone for that. And then on my sort of pastel-y, lighter shades tree in the living room, I haven't really got a Christmas tree skirt that goes. So my crocheted one is very bright, that's obviously very red. So I needed something a bit more in keeping. So I've made another skirt, which is this one. Let's see if I can hold it up so you can see the whole thing. There we go. So yeah, so I wanted to, I've got some Christmas fabrics, but I didn't have many that really went. So I picked out the ones that did. So I had this one and this one and the Santa I thought was quite good. I like the Santa, he's cute. And there was this one with little presents and wreaths on it. And the deers. Yes, dear. So I picked those out and then I just paired them with other sort of pastel-y shades that I thought were in keeping. So yeah, and then I thought, so I did my little segments and then I thought it just needed something else. So I thought I will add these little holly and berries, which are just appliqued on. They're quite cute as a little finishing touch. And then I just did the binding exactly the same. Nice, love this though, love how that looks. So because I needed a bias binding, it made a nice diagonal with this lovely stripy fabric, and the buttons, whole loops are the same. And for this one I did different colour buttons, partly to just keep in with the colours, partly because in my mishmash of button pots I didn't have 3 all the same that sort of looked right. But I thought that worked. I thought the different colours worked for this. So yeah, so that's what I made this week, and I really enjoyed making it. It was really, really nice. And I'm pleased I've got something that will go with my other tree in the living room. Last year it was all sort of golds and whites and with a quite bright tree skirt underneath because I didn't have anything else. So I thought I'd rectify that this year. Yeah, so that's the things I've done. I've almost done my blanket, the duck egg one with the little different coloured centres. But I think I should save that and show it to you next time because it's kind of huge and cumbersome and it's going to be really hard to show, so I need to sort of get some pictures I think to pop in, or I mean I'll bring it up and show you, but it's hard to get the effect of it with just me holding bits of it up. And yeah, I thought I'd wait till I'd actually finished it completely. So we'll do that next time. So let's go on to what I am making at the moment, which is socks, of course. So I have got them in my little Christmassy project bag that I made last year. Just a little drawstring one that I quite like. So yeah, I did the holly motif again. It's a bit of a fave of mine. So in here we have needle issues. Oh dear, we've got a lot of needle issues. I've got stitches off the needles. Let me just pop them on. I had to go to a doctor's appointment the other day, and yeah, so I got these out to stitch in the waiting room, but I was only sat down about 2 seconds and then I got called, which was like never happens. So I quickly dumped it in the bag, and obviously the needles have worked themselves out as I was in my haste. I didn't put them away properly. Sorry about this, 1 sec. I'm making a bit of a mess of this now, which will need sorting out. As long as I catch them up so I don't lose any, that's the main thing, isn't it? Right. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. These are the socks I have on the go at the moment. Oh, let's hold them that way up so the stitch marker hangs right. Some lovely self-striping socks. That's my stitch marker I got last year from a homespun house. It's a super miniatures one. I think it was from, yeah, it was from her Christmas club. So I've done the heel, because I'm doing self-striping. Yarn tangles. I just put a fish lips kiss heel in. And yeah, my usual 2x2 rib, that's my favourite because it's the most stretchy. 72 here, 64 here. My standard vanilla sock basically. So this yarn is called Yule Ball, which is a Harry Potter reference. It's in the 4th book. They go to the Yule Ball. So all the different colours represent different characters at the ball, which I can't remember now. So the red is like Victor Crumb, and the orange is Ron Weasley, and I think the pinks, I can't remember if the pink was Hermione or the twins. And you've got brown, you've got this lovely mint green that I'm on at the minute, and a darker foresty green, and greys. It's funny, it looks quite sort of almost quite dull wound up, but when it was in the hank, oh, it looked gorgeous. And I think it's knitting up nicely as well. I like how it's knitting up. I do like a self-striping yarn. They're just quite easy, well, just quite quick, because you only do a few rows of each colour, so you're always just finish this colour, and then the next colour sort of started, and you're like, well, I'll just finish this colour. And yeah, it's a nice way to knit vanilla socks as well, because you can sort of, you know, just knit till you've done so many stripes, and then you know when to put your heel in when you're doing the second sock to match. So it's quite easy to keep track of things, you know, because if you've just got plain yarn and you're knitting a vanilla sock, you've got to stop and measure. I don't like plain yarn for a vanilla sock. This is the best way. It's the only way I can knit a vanilla sock because the stripes keep it interesting enough. I couldn't knit a plain sock on plain yarn as well, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's that one. And the other one that I have on the go, you have actually seen this one before, but I've done a little more on it, so I thought I would show you the progress. So this I'm calling my Garters Ahoy, I'm calling it, because it's just lots of lovely, lovely, lovely garter. It's going to be a shawl. It's just a triangular shawl made up of loads of garter stitch basically. I'll do something slightly different for the edging. I know how I want that to go, but it's all very simple, very plain, very mindless, very repetitive, very not having to think, and very soothing and relaxing and lovely. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just craving that kind of soothing, take your brain out project at the moment, I guess, partly because of the time of the year, and there's just so many other things going on that when you do have a few minutes, it's nice to sort of grab something simple and not have to think about, you know, what row you on or where in the pattern repeat you are. So I guess that's why I've got vanilla socks and a vanilla shawl on the go, really. Yeah, it's just lovely squidgy bumps of garter gorgeousness. I do like these speckled yarns on garter, just shows them off so nicely, I think. So this is a double knit weight yarn, so that's why it's coming up so squishy and gorgeous. And it is a homespun house yarn. Oh, so beautiful. God, I love Molly's yarn so much. Oh. Sorry, I just can't. Let's look at it some more. It's so pretty. This is After All This Time, I think. Let me just check. Yes, it is. Soft Sock DK. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. After All This Time. Which I think, I'm watching her Vlogmas, I'm pretty sure she just put some more in the shop, actually. Because since I'm using mine, I'm almost tempted to get some more. I was saying when I cast this on, I almost just want like a museum curated collection of Molly's yarns. Not to use, just to have and to look at. But they are utterly gorgeous to use as well. So I need two of everything. One to use and one to look at. Yeah, so I'm in no particular rush to finish that. I've had it on the go for a while and it's just a nice little thing to pop in between other things. You know, I'll perhaps do some socks earlier and then I'll switch and do a few rows of this, or alternate nights, or I don't know. I probably don't think I'll finish it this side of Christmas. It'll probably sort of trail over into January, but it's quite nice because when you perhaps have finished one thing and you haven't quite thought out what the next one's going to be, you can just knit some rows on that in between. So I like it for that. So that's what I am doing at the moment. Pits next. Patterns in progress. The only pattern I've got in progress I'm actively working on at the moment is my Soul Soothing Mitts, which I should put a picture in here because I haven't bothered to bring them up. But they were, again, another sort of very comforting, cosy make that I'm craving now that it's turned colder. I just want to do nice, warm, soothing, curled up by the fire in the candlelight, squishy knitting or crochet. Yeah, so those were why I made those mitts. So I made them out of a nice natural grey yarn, as you can see from the picture. And yeah, it was an alpaca one. It was lovely. I told you all about this before, so I won't bother to tell you again. Bung the link in the show notes or something. Yes, so quite a few of you did ask me for the pattern for that because it just uses these crossed trebles. So I am writing up a pattern for that. Well, I have written it out, but I just want to sort of test it, make sure I've got it right. And then I'll probably try and get that up before Christmas for you because it's a nice Christmas gift mitts and they're nice and quick and easy to make as well. So I might pop that up. So keep an eye out on the blog or here. I might sort of do some sort of little Christmassy presenty offery type thing around that. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled in the places where I am on the internet so that if something pops up and it's only available for a short time, which might happen, don't want you guys to miss it. So yeah, look out for that. Yeah, everything else I've just put on hold because it's December and there's enough going on, and yeah, I'm just having a rest. I had a sort of a bit of a break over the last few weeks and I've sort of done all my main things. I think I've actually got everything done now and signed off and sent and written up, and yeah, I think I'm actually done. And so yeah, I'm taking what feels like a well-earned rest at the minute and just sort of relaxing a bit and not doing quite so much. So, well, I say that, but it's Christmas and it's December, so of course there's lots to do. But you know, kind of. So anyway, stop saying so, stop repeating yourself. Well, the other thing I should say is what I'm wearing, shouldn't I? Because you might be wondering, and as I made it myself, it is worth talking about. If you've been watching the podcast a while, you will recognise this because I've worn it before. But just in case you don't know, it's A Good Vintage Cardigan by Fran Morgan, and it was in one of the, is it Simply Crochet? Some sort of crochet magazine, but it's on Ravelry now, you can buy it online. And yeah, I made mine out of stash yarn. Well, I had to get a bit more of this creamy in-between colour, but all the other bits were stash. That's quite good, and it's quite nice for now. It's nice and warm. Because I made mine, it's supposed to be out of 4-ply, but I made mine out of a sort of light DK, just because I had the stash and I was stubbornly insistent on using it, even though it didn't really fit for the pattern. So that caused me a few problems and a bit of tinkering around. So my advice is just stick to what's written in the pattern, basically. But hey, after some faffing around, I made it work. So yeah, I like that. That's cool. So I thought I'd tell you that in case you were wondering. And then the only other thing is, or two things, is incoming goodies, which I'm going to show you my lovely little tailoress yarns that I got. She did a Gilmore Girls Club. There were 2 yarns and I've got both of mine now. So I'm going to show them to you. So if you're in that club and you haven't had your yarn yet, look away now because I don't want to spoil the surprise for you. So the first one you've probably had because that's been out a little while, but the second one you might not have got yet because I got that more recently. So if you are abroad in foreign climes, then you might not have received yours yet. So look away, don't spoil it. So the first one I'm going to show you now is this. So nice. Oh my god, I love it so much. So this is, what is it called? A Whisper of Peppermint. So this is inspired by the candy cane coffee that Laurie and Rory drink at Weston's in series 7, which I remember that. I think that's when she split up with Luke and she couldn't go into his coffee shop anymore, so they had to go to another coffee shop and it was all wrong and horrible. But look at that mint colour. Isn't that just the most perfectly divine colour you've ever seen in your life? I'm into mint at the minute, so I'm loving all the minty colours. So this was perfect. When I saw it, I was like, ooh, look at the stitch marker, isn't that cute? Let's see if we can get it to stay still so it will focus. There's a little candy cane with a little minty bead and a nice little bell, and it just makes the loveliest jingly sound. Oh, it's just perfect with a little contrasting heel, as you see, and it's sparkly too. Is that picking up? Let's see. Can we make it sparkle for you? I think you can see that, can you? Yeah. So I might use this as my Christmas Eve cast on. So my Yule Ball ones are kind of my Advent socks. It's me and Sam of Betsy Makes. We haven't really got our act together this year, but normally we do it as a sort of knit along, like an Advent socks, though, that you knit a little bit of your sock each day in, you know, from the 1st to the 24th of December, the days of Advent. But yeah, we haven't really sort of spoken and sorted that out, but I'm kind of doing that. That's kind of my plan for my Yule Ball ones. But these might be my little bobbins Christmas Eve cast on one, which I assume she's doing this year. I mean, I know she does it herself, I think, every year, but I assume she's doing it as like a little, not exactly a knit along. What did they call it last year? A sort of event, a knitting event where we all cast on our Christmas Eve socks on Christmas Eve. So yeah, I might use that for that. And then the other one, this is the more recent one. So this one, I'm going to tell you what it is because I read the little blurb before I saw it, And when I looked at it, I thought, yes, that is exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's perfect. So it says, it's called Lorelei's Present, and it's inspired by the sparkling snow that Lorelei refers to as her present in Love, War and Snow. And the Minnie is the colour of her scarf in the scene. Hope you love it as much as she loves snow. And I do. But yeah, I've just rewatched the beginning of Gilmore Girls, and I've just seen that scene where she describes that when she was poorly as a little girl and she wished there was snow, and when she woke up in the morning the snow had come and she felt like it had come as a present for her to cheer her up. So this is it. And it is just as I thought it would be. Glittery, of course. Beautifully crisp whites, lovely cool blues. And yeah, that Lorelei sort of colour scarf. There's this and red. Her and Rory sort of swap between being the blue and the red, but it's a very Lorelei colour. And just lovely little bits of speckling in the blue. Perfect. Oh, you can see the speckling in this end better. Look at that. So yeah, so happy with that. Kind of wish there was like more of that coming. Oh, and this is the stitch marker for that one. Look lovely. Oh, let's take me out of it so it focuses on that. Snow globy stitch marker. Very happy and pleased with those. So well done, Amy. They are very clever lady, and they are both utterly exquisite and beautiful. And I'm pretty sure you don't watch this actually, but you know, thank you. Even though you're not watching it, I love them and they're beautiful and you're very clever. Well done. Yeah. I think that's it. The only one last thing that I had was a bit of pod love that I wanted to share with you. So first of all is just the Vlogmases. Thank you to everyone that's doing Vlogmases. I'm really enjoying it and I'm watching quite a few of them, and yeah, they're really good. I'm watching Katie's from Inside 23. I'm watching Villain Vines. Little Bobbins is doing one, which is exciting. I like that. Homespun House is doing one again. Who else am I watching? Nordic Stitches as well. When I said, what was it? I was watching Vlogtober and I was saying how I was enjoying that, and if anyone was watching any others they like, and a lot of people, an awful lot of people actually recommended Nordic Stitches. So yeah, I've been along and checked her out, and I watched her last year's one actually in November, just to kind of, you know, get in the mood a bit. So yes, I've been watching that as well. That's really good. That's by Lily. She's lovely. What other ones am I watching? Can't remember. But anyway, yeah, so they're really good. They're nice to look forward to. Nice little snippets and catching up with people from their day. And then there's also a new podcast that I found just recently that I wanted to recommend to you, and that is by Michelle, and it's called Miss Strawberry Makes. I think she's on episode 4 I think now. Yeah, and it's she knits and she crochets and she sews the most amazing things, and yeah, she's sitting in her craft room and it's just gorgeous. Everything's so cute and pretty and colourful, and she's in America, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. It's a really nice little podcast. I think she tagged me on Instagram actually. That's how I found it, that she sort of mentioned you know, as people she'd mentioned, so she sort of tagged me in, but I'm really glad she did because I sort of popped along to watch it, and yeah, it's really nice. She's really lovely and she makes some amazing things, so yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, I would say go over and check her out. I think you'll enjoy it. I think that's it. I think I've talked about everything now. Yeah, I think so. I think we're done. Next time I'm back, I'm going to try and record again. Sorry, I'm just closing this because it's getting in my eye line. Yes, the next time I record, it will be the Christmas special. Yay! Which sounds very exciting, but it's basically the same thing, but in the living room with the Christmas tree. So the kind of Christmas tree looks pretty, but otherwise the lighting is a little bit more inferior because it's in the living room rather than my nice light crafty little box. And yeah, but I will speak to you then and show you some stuff down there with a Christmassy little theme going on. So yeah, and that will mean I'm ending on episode 40 for this year, which I thought that's a nice round number. It's a good place to leave it, isn't it? So that will probably be not next week, the week after, I would imagine. Sort of last thing, and then the school holidays will start and it'll all be into the fun and festivities. So yeah, I will just be on my blog until then, and I shall hopefully see you at the Christmas special. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me if you've stayed here this long, and if you've enjoyed it, I hope you'll want to subscribe. And I need to stop talking now and coming up with new reasons to carry on. So I will stop. Okay, I hope you find some nice relaxing crafting time in between all the busy madness that is December pre-Christmas, and I'll see you then. Bye!